Right now, though, each month I have a really interesting chat with a visiting expert on a topic related to the arts in some way. So it might be about sculpture, it might be a sculptor, it might be an artist, it might be an art valuer or an antiques specialist or something along those lines. And the reason that I get to do that, and they're always such compelling chats because the experts that I get the chance to talk to really know their stuff. They are experts in their field. And the reason I get to talk to them is that they're all passing through Toowoomba to speak to the local chapter of the Australian Decorative and Fine Arts Society, or ADFAS, as they're better known. But what is that all about? What is this ADFAS that I speak of? Well, let's find out a little bit more, shall we? Alana Johnson is a member of ADFAS Toowoomba. In fact, at the moment, she's the acting chair of ADFAS Toowoomba, and she joins me now for a chat. Alana, good morning. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, David.
So, Alana, firstly, what is ADFAS? I mean, every month I do an interview with a lecturer that's coming to speak at the ADFAS branch here in Toowoomba, but a lot of people might be thinking, what is it all about? So what is ADFAS?
Well, ADFAS is the Australian Decorative and Fine Arts Society, and it's a non-profit organisation that promotes the love of the arts in its communities, and we have access to international speakers, 6 a year that come from the UK and 2 from within Australia, and they come and talk about the arts, and it could be fine art, painting, architecture, sculpture. You know, any artistic pursuit can be covered, and they're just amazing. It's the best kept secret in Toowoomba.
I tend to agree. It started in England, and we're the beneficiaries of that now, aren't we? Really?
Yes, the Arts Society in the UK, they have hundreds of societies over there, and the lecturers that speak on the Arts Society circuit in the UK have to be well vetted.
Right.
They audition essentially and have to meet the quality criteria to be able to speak on the circuit. So we're very lucky to have access to these amazing lecturers. Because
they are all literally experts in their field, aren't they? They're not just people with a passing interest of the topic that they say they're going to talk about. They know it back to front.
Oh, absolutely. And most of them are doctors. Most of them are PhD doctors in their field, lecturers at universities, they're art valuers for Christie's. The depth and breadth of their knowledge is fantastic.
How did you come to be involved?
My husband and I heard one of your interviews and were interested and thought, we'll go along. This is up our alley. We love art and architecture and love to enjoy art in our travels, and so yes, once we went along to the first lecture, we were hooked because of the quality of the speakers and just how unique and fantastic it was. And there's refreshments and drinks afterwards.
That's right.
And that's always nice.
But I think, like any club or society, it's not just who you hear speak, but it's the chance to mingle and talk with like-minded souls, isn't it? You know, you've all got that one thing in common, and it sort of binds you.
Yes, everyone they're all people that enjoy art and also like connecting with each other through art, which is sort of one of the catch cries of our advertising that has been in the paper recently. Access the arts in good company, and you certainly couldn't get any better company than our society members.
That's brilliant. Who came up with that slogan?
I'm not sure. Probably our marketing committee.
There you go. Very good. I like that. Tell me about the process. So all of except for 2 each year, they're lecturers that come out from England. So in Toowoomba, what sort of choice do you and the rest of the committee have in terms of who you get and what they're going to speak about?
So we have a national committee and the lecturers committee. They have a look at all the lecturers who are available and happy to come out to Australia on the circuit. There's 3 circuits. We are on the Cook Circuit, which is mainly in Queensland and Brisbane. They go visit Brisbane and Cairns, Rockhampton, Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast. And we get a list of these lecturers and a synopsis of all the different lectures topics that they can give, and some of them can be quite diverse. So it might be, there might be 13 different lecture topics that one lecturer might speak about. So the committee is lucky enough to have a look at these synopses, and then we have a vote. We put our first and second preference. So and we try and make sure that we if it's close, that we pick lectures that we think our members will enjoy.
Right.
And also to mix up the topics a little bit so it's not all the same.
Well, the reason I laugh is, you've got how many people on the committee?
There's about 6 or 7 of us.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So you've got 6 or 7 people, all like-minded, but all probably very passionate about, what they particularly like and dislike. Does it become, shall we say, a full and frank discussion sometimes?
We all manage to make it work after a glass of wine and the committee meetings.
That softens the feeling a little bit.
No, we all, I think one of the agreements, is that each of the committee members, if it's close, will get to have their first preference if it's really close. So
Right. Which, could you hone it down to one particular lecture since you've been a member of ADFAS Toowoomba that stands out in your mind for whatever reason?
The first lecture of the year this year with Dr. Bill Platts. He was fantastic. He was so interesting. He was a gifted speaker. He whipped everyone up into the enthusiasm of the lecture. And that was on historiated portraits. So that was on how, people like to be painted as famous paintings.
That's right.
And it's a really quirky genre of art.
Yeah.
But
did you know it was a thing?
I guess we intrinsically know it's a thing because we've seen them, but to have the examples that he brought and showed us, and then he went on to talk about some of his art, which is really challenging and interesting, using puppetry and things like this. So, one of the beauties of being on the committee is that we get to have a little bit more exclusive access to the artists and the art lecturers,
right,
and get to know them a little better through picking them up and dropping them off and having a bit more exclusive time with them before and after the lectures. And I really enjoyed that.
He was particularly animated. It was just it's one thing to know your stuff, but it's another thing to be able to sell it and be passionate enough to get everyone else enthused by it, which was great with him in his case.
But just like people, the art lectures are so diverse, and some people love a particular lecture and other people have a real visceral response that they didn't enjoy it. But no matter what, you're still learning something.
Absolutely.
And learning something new.
And at the very least, you're still there, spending an evening with like-minded souls, and that can never be a bad thing.
No, but overwhelmingly, I think everyone enjoys it very much.
Definitely. You went along earlier this year to the Australian Decorative and Fine Arts Society's national conference for the chairs of each chapter. What sort of things do you talk about at a ADFAS national conference?
Yes, well, it was my first one, and I was there on my own from Toowoomba, and it was lovely to meet chairs from all over Australia, and all of the societies have similar challenges. How do we encourage more membership? How do we encourage more people to come along and more people to help out on the committee and not be afraid to help out on the committee, for example? So it was lovely to network and get to know how ADFAS functions, because I was a fairly new committee member, and so it was great for me to sort of learn some of that other stuff that ADFAS does at a national level. For example, the Patricia Robertson Fund, which is a scholarship that they contribute to for people who are studying conservator type work.
Right,
so they're doing conserving of art and all varieties of art too.
Which is brilliant. And that's the sort of thing that I guess a lot of people who aren't part of the organisation wouldn't know. And even locally you support youth arts in the form of the Kaiua dance group, which people might have heard.
That's right. Yes, they had a concert recently. They for a gold coin donation give dance classes for young people so they can express themselves, and we've donated to them in the past, and we've also, I think, contributed to the youth arts bursary or scholarship in one of those projects. So yes, we help to raise a bit of money to encourage and inspire young artists locally as well.
Fantastic. Overall, Alana, just in closing, who should join that perhaps is not going at the moment, or who would it appeal to?
If you like art and you like architecture and you like getting together and learning about it in a friendly environment, and meeting new people, it's a perfect place to come. The quality of the lectures is phenomenal.
Yep.
And no matter what, you'll learn something new and meet some new people.
Alana Johnson, she's acting chair of the Australian Decorative and Fine Arts Societies. Each month, as you heard there, they bring a fantastic speaker. 10 of them each year from overseas, or I think 8 each year from overseas, and 2 from within Australia. Always fascinating people, and that's what you get for your membership price of ADFAS. If you'd like to find out more, just have a look at their website. If you just type in, or if you just Google ADFAS and Toowoomba, that'll take you right there. And they've also got a really terrific Facebook page as well. That's worth a look, but worth considering signing up for a chance once a month to mingle with other people with similar interests and hear some absolutely brilliant speakers. Worth every penny, I reckon. 9:18.